Маша. Вы хотите пойти куда-то со мной? Do you want to go somewhere with me? We're just going to go to the other room and do a lesson. We're always moving. We're always going places. We're always doing things. So naturally, we use the phrase to go a lot in our daily language. And this is what I want to teach you how to say in Russian. But like a lot of aspects with Russian grammar, things are not as easy as we might like, and this is the case with the phrase to go. So when we're saying to go in Russian, there's two variations. There is to go by foot, and there is to go by transportation. And then in these two variations, to go by foot, to go by transportation, there's two more in-depth ways of saying each. There is to go uni-directional, one way, and to go multi-directional. And so today I'm going to teach you how to say all of it, and I'll teach you in past, present, and future tenses. Whew. And also, as if that's not enough, with different pronouns. So like I go, you go, they go, we all go. It's going to be a great lesson, and I am very excited about it. So let's go. Okay, so here we are. We are going to be learning how to say to go in Russian. I have the 4 words highlighted and the arrows indicating if it's uni or multi-directional. So we'll start with the top section. It's going to be like, just pay attention to this section to start with. We're going to start from the left, this word et. Et. This means to go by foot one way. It's spelled e, de, te, e. And then the second letter, de, it's almost like silent. Et, et. Okay? So, I have these little helper words that I'm going to go over so you know some of the context that you can use et in. The first is pishkom. Pishkom, that means by foot. Et pishkom, to go by foot. But that's what et means, so you don't have to use the word pishkom. But that's what it indicates. Сегодня, сегодня, today. Идти сегодня. Сейчас, идти сейчас, right now. Завтра, tomorrow. Идти завтра. And then to the right of that we have ходить. Ходить, that means to go pishkom, by foot again, but it is multi-directional. You can also use it with обычно, usually. Ходить обычно. Всегда, always. Or even вчера, yesterday. So the word ходить, to go by foot, multi-directional, you could use it with pretty much any frequency word. Like I said, обычно, всегда. You could say редко, rarely, никогда, never, часто, often. You can use the word ходить with these type of frequency words. Now let's go to the second half of the screen. Right here, we'll start with ехать. Ехать. And you know, before I actually get too much further, I do want to just make a quick note that when you're traveling by transportation, you're going to use a preposition with these words. In the Russian language, to the left of the screen here, we have v, really, really common preposition, and na. All right, and when we're talking about to go by transportation, we will use na, na поезде, by train, на машине, by car, на мотоцикле, by motorcycle, it will be на. Alright? Okay, so let's start with ехать. Ехать is to travel by transportation, uni-directional. На транспорте, that means by transportation. Сегодня, today. Again, сейчас, right now, and завтра. You can say it tomorrow. So it's just the same as идти. And then ездить, the very last one, to travel by transportation, unidirectional. Again, на транспорте, by transportation. Обычно, usually, всегда, always, вчера, yesterday. So these are just some words that you can look out for to help you know, to indicate when to use which form. So we have идти and ходить. This is to go by foot, unidirectional and then multi-directional. And then we have ехать and ездить, to go by transportation, unidirectional and multi-directional. And these are the 4 words that we will use for the rest of this lesson. So now that was the first part. Let's get into the second part, where I'll go over past, present, and future with you using different pronouns. All right, we're going to start by learning the present tense. And you know, you guys, I really struggled with how I wanted to teach this. It's a lot of information. It should really be taught in a few different lessons, but I just decided I'm going to get it all out there for you, and please learn at your own pace. I personally like to have one resource to fall back onto when I'm learning a topic, and then I want to progress in that topic at a later time. So this is what I'm going to do for you in this video. If you just want to learn the difference, say, between идти and ходить, or ехать and ездить, then just refer to the beginning of this video. If you want to take it a little further and learn how to say all of this in the present tense, this is what we will be learning now, and so on and so forth with past and future. Alright, so this is like a part 2. Okay, let's start with идти. идти. This is to go by foot, unidirectional. If you're talking about yourself, you'll say I, я иду. And what you'll see is, just depending on who you're referring to or who is speaking, the verb of motion, идти, is just going to change slightly. But once you learn 1 or 2, like say between идти and ехать forms, you can apply them to all of the rest that we're going to learn. Okay, я иду. Ты is you informal. Ты идешь. Он, она, оно, it's he, she, or it, идет. идет. Мы, we, мы идем. Вы, either saying plural you or formal you, is идете. Вы идете. And они, they, они идут. Я иду, ты идешь, он, она, оно идет, мы идем, вы идете, and они идут. And that is how you would say идти, to go by foot. Let's move over to ходить, to the left. ходить. This is to go by foot, multi-directional. Present tense. Я хожу. Я хожу. Ты ходишь. Ты ходишь. Он, она, оно ходит. Мы ходим. Вы ходите. Они ходят. All right. Now let's move to traveling, going somewhere by transportation. We'll start with ехать. Ехать is to go by transportation, unidirectional. Я еду. Ты едешь. Он, она, оно едет. Мы едем. Вы едете. And они едут. So you can see that the endings are probably starting to sound a little bit familiar for you. Like if you're saying et to go by foot, if you're talking about they're going, let's say они идут. Ut is the ending. And then if you're saying ехать, going by transportation, they are going by transportation, it's они едут. Едут. And it's got that same ending. Let's move on to ездить. This is going by transportation, multi-directional. Я езжу. Ты ездишь. Он, она, оно ездит. Мы ездим. Вы ездите. And они ездят. So that is how you would say all of this to go in the present tense. Okay, let us move on to the past tense. The past tense is fairly simple, I think. Please practice this before moving on to past tense. Here we are. We'll use the same format for the past tense as we did with the present. So we'll start with et. If I'm saying я in a masculine form, I will say я шел. Feminine form, я шла. If I'm addressing you as masculine, I'll say ты шел. Or you feminine, ты шла. And then он, he, шел, and она, she, шла. So you can see these three, depending if it's masculine or feminine, it's going to be the same. And then of course there's оно is like it, and you won't ever say it, but I need to teach it, so it's оно шло. And then the last three for plural, it's all going to be the same again. Мы, we, шли. Вы, you, plural or formal way of saying you, шли. And они, they, шли. So you can see there's a lot less variation with past tense, like 3. So let's move to ходить. Well, besides оно, which is the oddball. Okay, ходить, the same thing. It's я ходил or я ходила, masculine or feminine. Ты ходил, ты ходила, masculine or feminine. Он ходил, она ходила. Okay, so just like with et, ходить is the same. Then you have your oddball оно, ходила. Ends in o though instead of a like feminine. And then the plural, ходили. Мы ходили, вы ходили, они ходили. Alright? Going to ехать. Ехать, to go by transportation, unidirectional. Same thing. Я ехал, masculine, or я ехала, feminine. Ты ехал, ты ехала, depending on which. Он ехал, она ехала. Then you have оно, ехала. And then the plural. Мы ехали, вы ехали, они ехали. Same endings. And lastly, ездить. Ездить. Transportation, multi-directional. Я ездил or я ездила. Masculine or feminine? Ты ездил, ты ездила. Same thing. Он ездил, она ездила. Again. And then you have оно. Ездила. Ending in the O. And then plural. Мы ездили. Вы ездили. Они ездили. Okay, so the plurals ends in the E, masculine ends in the consonant, feminine ends in the A, and then you have your oddball ano ending in the O. And that is how you say past tense with these specific verbs of motion. Now, let's move on to the future, which is going to be a little bit trickier, but I have faith in you, we will get through this. All right, going to the future. In this future aspect, we're going to be partnering the infinitive verbs. So like идти, ходить, ехать, ездить, those are infinitive verbs. We're going to partner those with the word будет. Будет. It means to be or will be. And it's the word будет that's actually going to slightly change rather than the verb itself, like in the present and the past tenses that we just learned. And I will tell you why here soon. I have a little surprise for you. Okay, let's start with идти. So it's going to be я буду идти. The word идти is going to stay the same. Я буду идти. I will be going in the future. Ты будешь идти. Ты будешь идти. Он or она будет идти. Мы будем идти. Вы будете идти. Они будут идти. Okay? So it's that будет that you need to watch out for the different variations of saying. Let's go to ходить. It's going to be exactly the same thing. Я буду ходить. Ты будешь ходить. Он, она, оно будет ходить. Мы будем ходить. Вы будете ходить. Они будут ходить. Again with ехать. Я буду ехать. Ты будешь ехать. Он, она будет ехать. And a no could be here too. It's in one but not the other. It's the same though. Мы будем ехать. Вы будете ехать. Они будут ехать. And then ездить. Я буду ездить. Ты будешь ездить. Он, она, оно будет ездить. Мы будем ездить. Вы будете ездить. Они будут ездить. So it's the word будет that changes. Я буду. I will be doing this. Ты, informal you, будешь. Он, она, he or she, будет. We, мы, будем. Вы, plural for you or formal you, будете. And они, they, будут. So this is the imperfective aspect of the future tense. Now, let us move on to the very last portion of this lesson where I will be teaching you how to say these words in the imperfective aspect and the perfective aspect of Russian grammar. This is pretty advanced, but I would like to just also include it in this video if you are at that level. Or if you're not, you can learn what you want and then refer back to this video when you're ready for that next step. So, for the final part of this lesson, first, let's just review really quickly what we learned. We learned how to say to go by foot. That is iti and hadit. We learned how to say to go by transportation, and that is ехать and ездить. We learned how to say it using different pronouns in the past, present, and future tenses. Now, everything that we just learned is in the imperfective aspect of Russian grammar. If you don't know perfective and imperfective aspects, please refer to episode 11, where I give a general overview of the topic. Otherwise, we shall continue. So it was in the imperfective aspect. That means that it is an action that isn't completed. It's continuous, or we don't know that it has an ending. That's imperfective. Perfective aspect means that it's a completed action. It's done, deal, over with. All right, and the perfective aspect applies to some of these motion verbs, but I have good news for you. It doesn't apply to all of them. So let's go to these words first that I have up on the screen, and I have transferred over to my Excel spreadsheet. It's easier for me this way. So we have the word hadit. It's to go by foot multiple ways, and ездить is the equivalent, but by transportation. These words, they don't have the perfective aspect. It can't apply because if you're going multiple ways or somewhere and then back, that means that this action can't be completed. So it can't be perfective. So we'll cross these out and we don't need to learn them any further. Just remember that when you're talking about these in the future tense, you have to use будет. Будет plus the infinitive verb, saying in the future, I will be doing this as not a completed action. Because we'll also learn how to say perfective in the future, where you're doing it one time and you're completing it that one time. Okay, so let's move to идти and ехать. This is where the perfective aspect will apply, but I have more good news for you. It's not going to apply in this first column D to the present tense. The perfective aspect can't apply to the present tense because in the present you're right in the middle of doing something, and so it can't have an ending. So the perfective aspect is just going to apply to the past tense and the future tense of the verbs идти and ехать. So this is uni-directional. You're going somewhere one way, and you can either be going there in a continuous way where it's an incompleted action, or you can be going there as a completed action in the perfective aspect. And I already have it written out for you right here. Let me just unhide this. So we'll start with the past tense. So we'll be learning this column F. So we already learned column D. This is present tense, imperfective. And we already learned column E. And this is past tense, imperfective. And now we'll be focusing on column F. Okay, so this is past tense, perfective. And all you're going to be doing is adding the prefix pa. So let us start with ya. It would be ya as a guy, ya пошел. Ya as a woman, пошла. instead of simply saying я шел, imperfective я шла. Я пошел, я пошла. Ты пошел, ты пошла. Он пошел, она пошла. Мы пошли, вы пошли, они пошли. So it's exactly the same as the other past tense that we learned here in column E, except you're just adding the prefix pa, making it perfective aspect. You went there and that was it. That it was a completed action. And let's go to down here. Same thing, column F, ехать, ехать. Again, it's exactly the same as saying in the past imperfective tense, except you're adding pa again. So for the perfective past tense, for the perfective aspect of past tense, I know it's a lot. You will say я поехал as a guy, я поехала as a woman, ты поехал, ты поехала, он поехал, она поехала, мы, вы, они, all plural, поехали. So it's exactly the same as the imperfective aspect, except you're just adding that pa prefix. And that's it, that's all that there is to it. Let's go to the future tense. It's going to be very, very similar as the past tense, with us just adding that pa prefix. So with the future tense in the imperfective aspect, you're not using the word будет, will be or to be. You use будет with imperfective because you're saying I will be doing this. And when you're speaking like that, you're not saying that you will be finishing this task. You're just saying in general, this is what you will be doing. But if you're speaking perfectively, like I am going to read this book, I'm starting this book, I'm finishing this book, I am completing the action of reading this book, then that is perfective aspect, and the verb will change slightly with just adding pa as the prefix, okay? So let's start with iti. Instead of saying я буду идти, I will be going to the park, you'll just say я пойду в парк. Like right now, this is what I'm doing. I'm going to the park and I'm completing that action. Instead of saying, yeah, I will be going to the park at some point, you know. I hope that makes sense. So, я пойду, ты пойдешь, он, она пойдет, мы пойдем, вы пойдете, они пойдут. And then for ехать, it's still this column H. Here, it's right here that I'm referring to. Я поеду. So I'm going somewhere by transportation this one time as a completed action. Я поеду в Россию. I am going to Russia. Я поеду. Ты поедешь. Он, она поедет. Мы поедем. Вы поедете. And они поедут. And that's it. That is how you say the perfective aspect of the word идти and ехать. So this is going by foot, unidirectional, going by transportation, unidirectional. It has imperfective and perfective aspects. Again, you do not use perfective in the present tense, and you do not use perfective with hadith, going multi-directional, and yezdit, going multi-directional by transportation, because those aren't completed actions. If you're saying in the future I am going, in a year I will be going to this school every day. That's not a completed action. It's something that you're going to continue to do, and it can't have an ending, so it can't be perfective. And in the past, it's the same thing. If you're saying that I have been going to the gym every day, I have been going to the gym, that is a continuous action, so it can't be perfective because you haven't gone to the gym and have that be it. You just have been going there. All right, you guys, that's it. This is how you say to go in the Russian language. So we learned how to say to go by foot, by transportation, unidirectional, multi-directional, past, present, and future, perfective aspect, imperfective aspect, and how to say it in all the different pronouns that you can. Please learn this at your own pace. Refer back to this video as many times as you want. And you know what? Let me know. I have this entire spreadsheet that I created specifically for this lesson. If you would like me to send you this, it has every single possible variation of the word to go. If you would like for me to send it to you, I have my email in my YouTube account. Please reach out to me and I will get that for you, absolutely. Thank you so much for learning with me, and as always, I really, really look forward to making the next lesson for you.